Okay, so it's currently almost 12. Mind you, I fully have exams next week that I need to be studying for. Problem is, I have actual work this week, which is kind of inhibiting my working plan. Okay, so I have 4 exams: US history, biology, pre-calculus, and AP Spanish. I'm worried about these two. These two I can live with. These two, they need to go well. Not need to go well, but I want them to go well. My pre-cal, I have this thing called growth opportunities. So basically, if I do well on it, I can get points back on my previous tests. That would be great. Also, I've made peace with the fact that in coming to a school that was inherently harder than my old one, in an advanced math, I'm not in baseline math, I'm in advanced math, which is honestly a step up because at my old school, I was ahead. I was on the accelerated math program, and I'm not even in honors. I wasn't in honors math, but I was still ahead of the people who were baseline in my grade. So basically where you're supposed to be, and then I was here, and the highest you could go was here, unless you're a flippin' genius and you're in calculus BC your sophomore year. And at that point, honestly, yeah, that's not gonna happen. And so transferring over, I'm honestly just happy with that. I'm also still filling, I've said many times, filling in the gaps of what I did learn and what I didn't learn. And so also there's things I'm having to fully teach myself and just explain to myself, because the teacher obviously teaching the entire class, a majority who have been here the entire time, can't really figure out what I don't know, because he doesn't know everything I learned, because he's not me. So and I will say he's been quite helpful. Thank you if you're watching this. I appreciate it. He's given me a break more than one time, which, you know what, honestly I need. And I feel like I've also been talking to the school counselor more, which is really good, because when I talk about my emotions, I'm fine. I just need to talk with people who will agree with me. I guess I just need somebody to be my therapist. And I feel like a lot of times I talk to people and they just agree with what I'm saying, but they're not listening to a word coming out of my mouth. And honestly, I can live with that as long as I just feel like somebody's in my corner. I also feel like sometimes I talk to people at my new school and they just tell me how it is, and sometimes I just genuinely need you to be yeah, I get it, thank you, I get it, I understand you. And I'm okay, I'm fine now. Whenever people try and tell me how to think, I'm always okay, no. I will admit, I have to be so honest. Honestly, being honest these days doesn't get you very far, and yet I still do it. I have to be so honest. The other day, I put my thing into AI and asked for suggestions, and I don't like to use AI because it kills the environment. I used it this one time because I've been getting straight C's on my papers in this class, and I say C's lightly. I got a C on one paper, maybe 2. My grade just, it could be better, and it's not bad, but I just need it to go up. And so I'm you know what, maybe this will help me. I need suggestions, because the teacher, the way he thinks and the way I think are just I'm frolicking in the fields and he's spick and span. And so I'm trying to get back over there. I used to be a lot like that, and then I realized that I can have fun, and now I don't want to go back into my box. And you know what? I don't really have to, and I feel I'm not really in a place to give advice right now. I also think the more I talk, the more I realize where I'm headed. And I think you don't have to be in your box all the time. And I just never want to go into it ever. And that's what math class is for me, and history now, I guess. Anywho, where was I going with this? Oh yes, being so honest. AI gave me advice, and I was just annoyed, because I was no, you're supposed to tell me I'm perfect and say there's nothing you can fix, but here are all these things you can fix. And yes, I know that's a basic psychology thing where it's the sandwich method, and I have to admit it works on me. I used to take pride in knowing that I could recognize all these things and they didn't affect me, and now they do. And you know, whatever. whatever. Anywho, there's a point. I'm getting to my point, but I'm also just frolicking around it. Back to my previous point. So yeah, I need to meet with my teacher for that, and it was actually kind of funny. I go, hey, is it okay if I use AI to give me suggestions? And he goes, I would rather you not. And I said, so I actually did already do that. Is that okay? And he goes, yeah, just send me like what you asked. And I said, okay, yeah, I'll just send you the thing. I opened my computer, the entire thing cleared. And so I'm like, oh, like it's gone. And he goes, okay, just send me the document and I can look at the version history. And I'm like, it's a good thing that we know each other, because if we didn't, like, I'm just like, whenever I say I'm so, like, the entirety of my being is just so, like, what's it called? It starts with a P. I'm very easy to misunderstand. And, like, you might think I'm a bum and a cheater if you don't know me. I pinky promise I'm not. A lot of things happen to me all the time, and it's at a point where, like, I'm like, literally, mind you, I had a full-blown, first time ever, panic attack in this man's office in November. And I'm like, you know what, at this point, like, I think you've seen me at my worst. I haven't been that bad around people I've known since I was born. So I really think that sped up our student-teacher relationship. So at this point, I think he knows I'm not gonna lie to him. I don't lie really ever. The only time I'll lie is if I've told the truth before and it's just done me so wrong to a point where I'm like, you know what, my morals aren't worth what's gonna come if I tell the truth. And that happens like maybe once or twice a year. Like, I will get myself into so many problems by telling the truth, but I don't know, it just makes me feel like better about myself. I think it's also because of the way I was raised. Like, I have to admit, in Christian school, I did not gaff about obedience. I hated hearing that word. It always made me angry and annoyed. And every time I would hear, like, be obedient, I was like, I'm not doing that. But honesty is the one thing that stuck with me. Like, I still remember the song, Jesus, others, and then yourself, and that's the way to have joy. That is not a good mindset to give to kindergartners, I have to admit. Putting everyone above yourself is just not going to get you very far in this world. Then again, being honest probably isn't either. I think it's important to be honest, but also know when it's not really worth it. Like, you have to not compromise your morals, you have to just, like, have priorities. Like, is it worth it to get yelled at for something for being honest, or to just not say anything and move on with your life? I'll let you decide. Anywho, so yeah, that's kind of why I'm this way. I'm like literally so, wait, I have another point I want to make. I'm so, like, not fickle. I just feel like I'm very American. And honestly, whenever people tell me that, I take it as a compliment. And not only a compliment, but it's like kind of a validation for me. Not necessarily. It's because my dad immigrated here whenever he was 5, and his entire life, all he had to try and be was American. Like, losing his native language, his looks, his appearance, his hair color, his voice. Like, it's like everything. Wait, low-key, sorry, Dad. Like, I'm airing out your business right now. Wait, I don't think, wait. You know what, it's okay. It's just like, and I think it's not just him. It's like so many immigrants are told, like, you shouldn't be who you are so you can be more accepted. And I just can't get down with that. Like, I love speaking to people with accents. I think it's the cutest thing ever. I will admit, I always say, what? But I say that to people who just speak, like, English in, like, a Valley Girl accent to me. So it's not even a personal thing. I just can't hear it. Like, if at my job, literally, I swear, I act like an alien. I act like I'm not from this planet, because people talk to me and I'm just like, what? I swear, like, this one coworker, I think she thinks I'm an idiot, and I can live with that, because, like, if you're gonna judge me based off how I am for 10 hours every weekend at my place of employment, girl, whatever. Anywho, and so I think, like, I think he takes that as a compliment, and so that's kind of transferred on to me. Like, I'm not gonna be offended if somebody, literally so many people have told me, you're so American. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I probably am, because that's literally all my father ever really wanted me to be. And not in a way where he was like, you can't be like this, you can't be like that, but it's more of just like, that's what he worked his entire life for me to be perceived as. And so, wait, am I low-key like, yeah. And so I think that's just like, yeah. Back to my exams. I don't really know how I got to that point. There's also another point I'm trying to make, but I was trying to talk about my exams. It's been 10 minutes and 44 seconds, so let's get on with it. My exams, okay, so yes, pre-calculus and AP Spanish. Those are what I'm locked in on right now. I wrote out, like, so whenever I study for my exams, usually I just, like, write everything down and look over my notes and ask people to quiz me. Or at least that's my plan. I'm a little nervous. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. My biology teacher is such a G. He gave like a whole list of just all the questions. And my history teacher is too. He gave like a prompt to type in to get sample questions. So I'm feeling not too bad about those. My Spanish test is literally gonna be like a marathon. It's like, imagine an ACT in Spanish. Are we joking? Are we serious? An ACT in Spanish. Oh, that's great. That's lovely. Lovely. Great, great, great. It's gonna be okay. Moving on. That class, honestly, today, I just really wasn't feeling too great after that class. Mind you, my last class of the day. I was just like, I swear, it's just kind of like, I'm like, there's good stuff out there. Like, it's gonna get better. And then I go to that class and I'm like, not in this class. Not in this class. I just, like, I'm no fluent speaker. That's for sure. I'm just, I guess, very American. I remember a foreign exchange student came and she was like, you're like the epitome of an American. And I was like, thanks. That's been said to me so many times. That's really funny. Okay, moving on. Up and Adam. The point I was gonna make is, at my lunch table, we were talking about like marrying rich, because I just saw this TikTok. This is what brought me here. When I was like studying for my exams, it was like, maybe I should marry rich. And I was told I'm the least likely to marry rich because I'm opinionated. And honestly, that's like, and I was like, that's probably true. Like, I would not be able to marry someone who I do not like or enjoy spending time with, and be with them every single day. And I know usually when we marry rich, it's less like that. I just, like, I can't. The concept of that, like, no. That's okay. Like, I can find another solution. And no hate to people who marry rich. Like, you do you. I just, yeah. You can tell by how much I speak. I just don't think it would go well for me. Also, I don't want this to be like a, oh, she says it's not gonna go well for her. Like, I don't know. I just, like, I can't with the whole, like, manipulation of the entire thing. Because it's like, what do you mean if I piss you off, it's gonna be me walking down the highway with my 2 suitcases from Balenciaga or whatever. Wait, no, from Louis Vuitton. I, like, what? What do you mean you can be involved in, like, organized crime or something and then suddenly I'm, like, homeless? What do you mean there's gonna be a huge gap in my resume that I can't explain and that I worked my entire life for? I worked my entire life to be able to join the workforce, basically, and I can't now because I married you and you dumped me, and now I don't have a resume. So that sounds unfortunate and like a situation I really don't want to be put into. Yeah, no. And also, I just like I'm not necessarily anxious, but like I think a lot, and like if I'm worried that if we argue, like you have such financial, like, what's it called, superiority to me, that like I'm completely and utterly cooked if we're not together, then like no, that's not how I want to live my life ever. And I'm not saying I wouldn't, like, if I liked someone and they had more money than me, then I wouldn't care. But if the only reason why I dated and married them was because of that, yeah, I think I would think about it a lot. Also, I feel like that comes with a lot of like not being able to speak your opinion or be yourself, and also a lot of having to use corporate language, which I'm not good at. I can use corporate language, I just don't like to. I like to speak normally in like how I like to. And like I can do it, I just don't want to. And I don't want to have to live like that. Like if I'm relaxing, like I don't know, and I want to be able to be friends with who I want to be friends with. And I'm sure like there are some people who do that and marry rich. I just like it seems like you have to give something up. Like there always has to be like a balance of things you have versus you don't have. And I would rather have friends and not as much money than money and no friends, because then who am I supposed to talk to? I would like to, then again, I say this and I am literally talking to an object right now. Somebody told me the other day, they were like, you seem like you could just talk to the wall for hours. And I was like, you don't even know. Little does she know. Little does she know. It's probably like really late now and I need to go do what I'm supposed to. How should I do my hair? How do we think? Like, I think I wore my hair in a bun today. I honestly don't remember. I look, you need to wash it. That's not happening tonight. I'm going to bed. So I think I'm just gonna braid it. And then I'm gonna shave my legs. And I'm going to peep the injury I got from my class. Yay, it's healing. And then I'm gonna pick out my outfit for tomorrow. I look, you like half picked it out in my head. And I'm gonna go to bed. And I've been trying to go to bed earlier. Last night I went to bed really early. Tonight I was like, I need to stay up late or else I'm not gonna get any of the crap I need to get done. I also wrote this essay and it's like not necessarily my best work, but it's probably what's gonna get submitted. Why would you assign me something to write my exam week, my pre-exam week? That's so evil. Don't do that to me. And then also, like, I understand I could get an extension if I needed it, but then I just have to do it after exam week where I feel like I've been hit by a truck. And you're definitely not getting any work after exam week. Or maybe you would have. I don't really know. I'm still learning how to be a human. How to Be a Human being my favorite album ever. I love that album. I feel like I need to find like another like album of the year that was low-key my album of the year last year. I need to find an album for this year. You know what song stuck in my head? Cops Don't Like Me. A cop asked me what's my name and don't lie, and I'm asking, officer, why? Okay. Bye. I hope you have a lovely week. See you later. Hello everyone, coming at you with some very fun facts. Currently studying for my US History and AP Spanish exams. Yes, they're tomorrow. They're not in that order. It's AP Spanish and then US History. If you can't tell, I'm quite energized and locked in because I was just on FaceTime with somebody and I was trying to explain to them my history fun facts and they wouldn't listen. And I was like, oh, I gotta go because I'm about to go tell people who actually listen to me. Yeah, I was not appreciating that. Tried to say it 3 times, got ignored 3 times. And they were like, I can't process new information. I was like, that's the entire point of going to school. Like, are we serious? Anywho, if you're watching this and you're like, that sounds like me, this is not about you. Okay. Anywho, moving on. Number 1, did you know that during World War II, the reason why during D-Day attacks, my history teacher last year told me this, same history teacher who low-key clocked my shit in front of my entire class. I'm trusting that this information is correct, likely. But yeah, figured I'd bring that up. A little flashback. Number 1, the reason why the D-Day attack was so bad was because Hitler had, because Hitler, the reason why Hitler was so sure that Normandy was the wrong beach is because the United States told people inside the army or whichever, the Navy, inside an army branch, that there was a different beach that they were invading. So they genuinely believed that they were invading at a different beach. And they let these people get caught and they let the answers get tortured out of them. It was not that beach. We know that. But they told them the wrong beach so that people would not know. Reason number 1 why I would never join the army, because what if that was me? No thanks. Moving on. Number 2. There is this thing called the bombing of Dresden. If you don't know what that is, it's basically whenever the United States committed a war crime against Germany. So, in 1944, the United States decided that they wanted to bomb the entirety of a German city, just civilians, with no purpose other than just killing a hell of a lot of people. I don't believe they ever got in trouble for this, actually, and that is fully a war crime. However, they did rebuild the entirety of Europe, so there's that. Little bit of more moral turmoil there. I know these, so I learned this last year, and I still remember that because I was like, what the hell? And actually, so that was a lot of US hate. Let me just say, I actually sided with the necessary good side in my debate. Well, I actually didn't debate because I was sick while they were preparing for it, but I wrote a paper on this. Because 1, it was basically on how it benefited the US, and obviously it benefited the US because it saved our economy from depression. It also integrated women and people of color into our workforce, which is another reason why I said it's good. My camera's dirty. But it is still important to note what we had to do to get there, to that morally good, or to that, to those benefits, which was bombing some people. Also, I got my nails done. I have my winter formal this Saturday. I don't have a dress. So I need to work on that. But I do have nails. Just got new nails. I don't think I have any dresses I can just wear to that. I need to get, now I have to go find a dress. I'm probably just gonna end up at the thrift store again. Anywho. So those are two not so fun facts. For my Spanish exam, para mi examen de español, estoy estudiando, es un correo electrónico, un ensayo argumentativo, MCQs, no sé, 65 MCQs. Y un comparación cultural. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow for 3 hours. And then I have to do some 20 MCQs about history and then 10 short answer questions. By short answer, they mean 10 sentences. That's not short answer. That's long answer. And I will not be formatting that in any sort of manner. All I know is I need to give a definition. Mind you, I'm not really aware of the standard format of that because I didn't go here last year. I didn't know why there were people hooting and hollering in the background of my video. How disrespectful. I don't feel like reaching to close my door, so we're just gonna keep them there. Anywho, so yeah, that's all that's going on with KG's life today. I did in fact go to work, and then I studied. Well, I got my nails done, and then I studied. And if you're like, why do they all look like they're different lengths? I actually got them done on my natural nails. Yes. And this is the length I would have loved for them all to be. This is like my pride and joy child. I love it so much. However, that did not happen, and that's okay. Honestly, I love it whenever I go to nail salons and I don't feel like I'm dying because ever since I went to that one and there was freaking nail glue stuck to my skin. Our hands were stuck together at multiple points throughout the appointment. And also, she was literally calling people while talking to me, which I wouldn't have minded had our hands not been stuck together. But our hands were stuck together, so I did not appreciate that. Okay, I need to look for some consejos para el ensayo argumentativo. I swear. What's it called? Pronoun. Wait, what is it? Subject-verb agreement is going to be the death of me. But no, it's fine. I got this. Yo tango. Okay. I'm going to read these instructions to you. You're helping me study for my exams. Okay. So, in the first one, my introduction, I introduce my position, my opinion, my point about this tema, subject. And then I have to have a hook that captures their attention. And then I have to present my 3 arguments. And that's my thesis, I think. Okay, in number 1, I have to present at least 1 source, ideally 2 or 3, and I have to analyze them. So basically, wait, I'm gonna close my door. Okay. So basically, like, if the subject were to be like, video games, are they good or are they bad? And I have 3 sources, I would be like, this source says, fuente uno explica que, and then I paraphrase. You don't quote it, you paraphrase, which I really appreciate, actually. And then counter argument and argument 2. So this is whenever you present your counter argument. Maybe be like, video games, like, I think that they're bad for you. Well, okay, depending on what you're arguing. Whenever I argued, I said that video games were good for you, but I said they might be bad for you because they can take up too much of your time. But then I counteracted that with, you need to get personal responsibility if you're growing into an adult, because if you don't get it now, when are you going to get it? And then paragraph 4, conclusion. Reform your position. Reform your 3 arguments, aka restate your thesis. And present a rhetoric question. What is more of this? Where will video games go in the future? What is the relevance of video games in our future? Why are video games so important now? Stuff like that. And then, my one problem with this is verb conjugations. Here's the thing. I will always get the big topics, but it's my tiny questions about the tiny subjects that always get me. Like in math, I will get the entirety of the subject, but I will miss 1 point on every single problem for some tiny little thing. Well, not on every single problem, but on enough problems for it to pose a problem. Speaking of, I need to review how to do periods in my trigonometry graph section. Okay. And then I just need to make sure I have verbs. Se cree que, se piensa que. Okay, we got this. Bye. Hello, everyone. Okay, so I took my exam for my pre-calculus class today. It could have gone better. By could have gone better, I mean, like, it really could have gone better. I got some salada, and I treated myself to one of these and a cookie. Honestly, this exam week, I've been eating a lot, and it's giving me brain food. So yesterday, I took 2 of my exams, and I felt, like, pretty fine about them, except one of them got, like, half canceled, and so I have to redo part of it, and also part of it didn't really work for me, so I have to redo that part, too. and I have an exam tomorrow to study for, and then I have the one from yesterday that got rescheduled to 2 days from now, so I need to study for that again. My math one, I'm gonna be so honest. Last week I wrote down everything, and so I felt like I could recall the things just fine. Like, no, the second I looked at it, I didn't remember exactly, but I would go forward and then I would go back and I would remember things. But by the end of it, I didn't have enough time. I had 2 hours, and it was like 20 questions that were like basic solve, and then 20, or not 20, I don't know how many with calculator. And by question 13, I was like an hour and a half in. Wait, no, I was like around an hour in, and I was like, oh no, I don't think I'm, and I was like trying my best to stay calm, because if I'm not calm, I'm gonna freak out. I'm not feeling too great about it. And I've been trying to make myself feel better, but I just don't, like, and the thing is, I feel like I studied as best as I could have, and like the night before, I was really trying to focus on like clearing my mind and like calming myself down before it, because pre-cal was just not my good class, and taking it, I was just like, I felt so unsure of everything I was doing, and I'm really upset about it. And so yeah, and I feel like sometimes, you know, you try and show up and it just doesn't work out, and you try and, you know, be like, yes, I can do this, and then you're like, no, I can't, apparently. And I'm just trying to learn how to roll with the hits. That class is just beating my butt this year. Tomorrow I have my biology exam, and this one isn't like, he gave us a whole review sheet, and so it's not bad at all. I just like, I'm really trying to get like the motivation and the brain power to study for that, because I just kind of feel like I just feel like I need a break. And also, I have my exam tomorrow, and then the next day, Thursday, I have to reschedule my exam from 8 to 10, and then I have school. I don't even get Thursday and Friday off. I have to do school, and one of my teachers has an assignment in an elective class that I need to finish, and it's my entrepreneurship class, and it's for creating, like choosing a white space, which is basically the entire direction of my project. I also don't know what my group is. I don't know. It just really frustrates me how at my new school, like, feels like teachers don't really understand that, like, during my exam week, like, I don't want you to email me about anything. Don't assign anything my exam week. This is my exam week. And also last week, I had so much stuff to do during my exam week. It's just frustrating me so much. And mind you, this work, like, okay, that's how I'm doing, but it's okay. We got it. I'm gonna eat this. Oh, I got a cookie. Did I already say that I got a cookie and a cake? Yes, I did. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay, since earlier I was like the messenger of doom and gloom, I just want to say this is a reminder that I also feel like I say this to like people, but like I don't say this to y'all, and so that's why I don't repeat it. But trust me, I believe this, and you need to too. Just because you don't get the highest score in something, you don't win something, you don't get the best grade on something, you don't get exactly the grade that you want in something, does not mean that you're bad at it. There's so many aspects that go into that, and obviously I feel like there's always something you can improve on, there's always something you could have done better, but after that is done, it's done. So just like, you should always look at it through a lens of like reflection and like, what can I do better? Not, oh, how did I do that? Why did this happen? Why can't I, wait one sec. Why can't I improve? Why am I not seeing results? Because that is where you will screw yourself over. Because don't mind me, I'm trying to study for my biology exam. Because if you're constantly like, why can't I do this right? Why can't I do this right? Then all you're gonna do is stress yourself out and cause more problems. Or, I mean, I don't know you very well, so maybe that works really well for you. It's all like finding what works well for you, but you also like, either way, just please remember, like, you are not the number or letter on a paper. You are a person with feelings, emotions, passions, dreams, aspirations, and you will achieve so much, and you will end up where you're meant to be. Sometimes you just have to struggle through pre-calculus, and you know what? It builds character. It builds character. And you seriously, like, please listen to me whenever I say you do not have to be perfect. Nobody on this planet is perfect. And a lot of the times, trying to keep up with that image of perfection only leads you down paths of even more detriment. And I promise you, you don't go down that road. Just please, just own it. Just own it. You messed up. Just please take responsibility for your actions and try your best to improve, and don't criticize yourself, because that, like, your brain literally cannot learn from just constantly being criticized. You have to say, like, you're doing this good, you're doing that good, and take breaks. And you know, there are some days where I literally just want to be like, why can't I do anything right? And then, like, I feel like as I say that, I know I don't really believe that. That's just something that I want to say out loud. And I don't really know where that comes from. I don't know if it's like programmed responses, but just know that's not true. And if you widen the lens, literally, there is no way you were born to get A pluses in every single one of your classes. Like, there has to be a bigger goal than that. And you know what? Maybe you love getting A pluses. You also need to make sure that you have like a direction you're going in, and not just A plus, A plus, A plus, A plus, because you're going to reach a point where you graduate from high school, graduate from college, and you're like, what do I work for now? And not saying that people who make A pluses aren't going to be successful. I'm more saying don't get so wrapped up in performing well for certain formats that you don't realize that the world outside of schools works differently. Like, you're gonna have to do some improvising, you're gonna have to do some marketing, you're gonna have to do some socializing, you're gonna have to learn how to do things in ways that aren't just strategically set, because that's like one box. Like, one time this girl said to me, that'll get you, like, that'll open the door, but you need things to push you through. Yes, that opens the door for you, but if you don't know how to hold a basic conversation, if you don't know how to create connections with people, then you can't, it's not going to work out. Or if you don't have any passion for what you're doing, if you don't know what you want to do, and not saying you need to say, like, specifically, I want to do this. If you don't know, like, a general region of where you want to go, and you're just working for that validation academically, that's going to cause so much confusion for you once you reach a point where you need to choose where you're going to go. And not saying you need to know that as soon as you enter high school or as soon as you enter college. It's more of just look for what you interests you rather than look for what you're good at. That's my advice, at least, because I think there are things that I can technically do very well, but my soul isn't in them. And so whenever I do them, they aren't done as well as they could be done. And they also just, it's not something I want to do. Like, think about it, for the rest of my life, do I want to wake up every single morning and do this? That's a very relevant question to ask yourself, because if you don't, then you could end up in a loop. It's just not a road you want to go down. And you can always change your mind, and you can always choose to go back to something. It's better to change your mind or go back than to stay in one thing your entire life and hate it. I'm also just a really big believer in just going out and trying new things and doing things different ways, because you might never know, oh, I love doing this way, if you don't go try something else and it crashes and burns and you're like, yeah, let's never do that again. Because that's like how you learn. And I hate the fact that like there's a lot of conditioning that like whenever you mess up on something, that's bad. Because I think, and this is said a lot, but mistakes are meant to like say like, oh, don't do that. And I feel like whenever there's a lot of pressure, instead of learning from the mistake, it's just like, I did something wrong, I did something wrong, I did something wrong. I'm number one victim of this in math class. Like, I can't even lie to you. That math exam, I know I could have done better. I just felt so much pressure and so stressed and so just like unqualified. And I literally am qualified. I know what I'm doing. My brain was just messing with me. And it's such a frustrating situation because I know I probably could have done better than what I did. And it's just frustrating whenever you let the pressure get to you. And that, I think, is what happened to me. And that's why I'm studying for this exam right now. It might be like kind of late, but I'm literally, my teacher gave me all these notes on everything that's going to be on the exam. And so you best bet I'm writing everything out. And I'm going to study everything because, I mean, I might have let pre-cal get to me, but I know I got biology. I have my Spanish exam again. And so I'm going to study for that. And I already took my history one and my pre-cal one's over. That chapter has been closed. I tried my best to do damage control, but I mean, sometimes you just have to learn. And this kind of reminds me of whenever sorry, I'm like writing this out. I can totally do this another time, so let me just stop. I think my brain's trying to overcompensate. Anywho, I need to study cellular respiration and photosynthesis because I remember nothing about that. And also, yeah, nothing about that. Oh, what was I gonna say? I had a really good point. I mean, I can just rewatch it to you. So, I totally had a good point, and I totally forgot it. And also, rewatching me makes me, like, I literally kept on, like, going too far forward, too far back, too far forward, too far back, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm done. So what I was talking about was sometimes you just kind of gotta get punched in the face to learn. And, oh wait, I know what that reminds me of. Oh, yes, this reminds me of whenever I had a literal panic attack in front of one of my teachers. And, literally, oh, I've already talked about this. What I was saying was, I was like, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. I was not okay at all. And that just kind of put it right in my face, like right here, right here. I was like, oh, I'm lying to myself. And sometimes you just got to see that real up close. And so, I don't know. That was so frustrating. That was so frustrating for me for math because I felt like I literally knew what I was doing, but I didn't at the same time. It was pissing me off. Anyhow, I'm gonna block in on studying and I need to put on a TV show because I'm kind of living like a barbarian. Like, why am I studying without freaking TV on? Why? Like, no. Okay, anywho.